Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Wavelogix Lunch and Learn series. I'm Suzanne Florick, VP of Marketing here at Wavelogix, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping notes. We are recording this session, so don't worry if you miss anything. We'll send out the replay. If you do have questions, please drop them in the Q&A box, and we'll cover as many as we can toward the end. And if you run into any tech issues, just message us in the chat. Our team is standing by. At Wavelogix, we're on a mission to make roads, bridges, and infrastructure stronger and more reliable, powered by real-time concrete strength data from our Rebel sensor system. Today's conversation features two industry leaders, Joe Turek, CEO of Wavelogix, and Stephen Herald, Regional Technical Services Manager at Amrize. Stephen brings over 25 years of ready-mix experience and a deep understanding of materials performance, mix design, and quality assurance. He's a strong advocate for data-driven decision-making and a great example of how technology and field expertise can work hand in hand. Together, Joe and Stephen will dig into what's working in Ready Mix, what's changing, and what's next for producers who are building with confidence and precision. I'm excited to dive in. So, Joe, why don't you start us off?
All right, fantastic. Stephen, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
A lot
thank
of
you.
fun to have you on board telling us about the ready mix industry. We're just going to do a little back and forth between Suzanne and I, asking you some pointed questions, and we'd love to hear some of your answers. So, with that, Sue, you want to get us started?
Absolutely. So, Stephen, how have you seen mixed designs and materials evolve since you started in the industry?
It's a great question. I think, it's a very active topic right now in the industry, as any professionals that are in my line of work know. The cements have been changing. Lower carbon cements, going from a Type 1, 2 cement that we used for many, many years, and moving over to the Type 1Ls. There's other parts of North America using 1Ts, ternary blends, limestones, pozzolans being blended. I would say we've recently gone through one of the biggest changes with the 1L transition, and I think that's pretty prevalent these days. Additionally, the supplementary cementitious world, the fly ashes that we're using, the slags, it's a very active uh, industry to have. SCMs are critical for durability and lower carbon products as well. So these are all aspects that have changed over time. And of course, I would just add one more thing to that, is that the admixture technology that comes along with these changes complement it. More complex polycarboxylate based high range water reducers, strength enhancers. There's a whole realm that is going along with these next generation cements that's coming from the admix side.
Wow, that's quite
Quite
interesting.
the answer.
My head is spinning already. So, are there any old school practices that you still use today, and anything that's definitely out?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a QC technician on a job site, you're a job super. I think one of the it's not a replacement. It's not an official test, but when that concrete hits that chute, right, that visual representation of slump, we still all use that every day today. Technology is changing. You can't, it may look like something and slump out at a different number than you think, but it's still a tried and true method to get a really quick visual assessment of the quality of your material coming to your job. I think that's something that's never going to go away, but we do it is changing, but it's still a down and dirty way to get an idea of your quality. Yeah, and I would think that maybe one of the one of the methods that we need to look at is those 28-day cylinders. Um, I would say in the past, with past performance of materials, 28 days was a pretty good indication of the quality of your concrete. These days, as I mentioned in the previous question, with SCMs changing cementitious materials, those 28 days may only be the tip of the iceberg of what the strength of that mix is going to do. It's really important to know from your supplier and know your mixes. Many times, the 28 days, we still have significant strength gain, even out to 56, out to 90 days. We're still designing for 28 days. But when you're trying to get into, a lower GWP, when you're trying to lower your carbon footprint on your project, it's very important to have that discussion about 28-day breaks, because it may not be for that particular application. You might be able to look at a later age strength gain to lower your carbon, and then push some of those more carbon intense mixes onto other elements of your structure.
Yeah, interesting. And I think I saw an Amrize, as a follow-up to that, an Amrize advertisement about all the sexy tools that you have on your trucks nowadays. Do you have things like slump meters on there, and other tools that are coming online? The temperature, I don't know what's important in a truck today. Are you aware of any of those things?
Absolutely, that's the emerging technology. Most trucks these days are going to have some sort of meter on there to get an indication of your slump. The technology in drum technology is changing. Sensors within our industry it's definitely a growing industry. I would say there's sensors on drums these days to measure air content, to measure slump, to measure temperature, to measure volume, to measure all those in drum diagnostics that are important for determining the quality.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you think they'll eliminate something like the slump test at the end of the truck with the sophistication that's coming online?
I think I think specifications will be written for that. I think there'll be reviews of that. At the end of the day, you're probably still going to have a tester out there testing. Sensors are good to a point. Very good, very good. But at the end of the day, you're going to want to have somebody physically testing it. I think that's going to be down the road, perhaps, but in the immediate future, I think you still need to have testers on site testing the slump.
Yeah, yeah.
So with all these changes, how have expectations from contractors and DOTs changed over time for you?
Yeah, it's simply put, from the contractor side, is they want to get to that structure faster. They want to build faster, right? It's part of nearly every conversation we have, when we're in the early phases of projects, and even during projects, is how fast can we stress? How fast can we strip? How fast can we get moving to the next element? It's built into their schedule, to their budget. So these are really critical elements for the success of a project. And yeah. So I would say that over my 25 years, it was a critical element when I came on board, and it's just been an element that's continued to grow. We need to know. Yes, absolutely. From the DOT side, obviously early strength is still a critical aspect, but durability, prescriptive durability requirements, moving towards moving into a greater realm other than strength, using surface resistivity, chloride ion, every durability factor that the DOTs are looking at these days to get the longevity of the structures.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now you have multiple plants, Stephen. How many do you manage altogether?
Oh shoot, that's a good question. I mean, we're operating up and down our footprint here, where we have anywhere between 15 to 20 plus, depending on the year, on the time.
So how do you go about maintaining the consistency from plant to plant? I mean, with the different aggregates that you might be mining that are more regional, and then weather probably changes across each one of those. It's gotta probably drive you crazy. What's the secret sauce?
It's people. It's having a robust quality plan. Looking at incoming materials, having a team dedicated to testing raw data or raw materials coming in, having close relationships with our vendors. the technical sides, working with our SCM providers, working with our cement manufacturers, reviewing the data, looking at the data, trusting the data trends, and making decisions off of as close to real time data that you can within our control. So absolutely a robust quality control plan, standard operating procedures, and a lot of dedication to the raw materials.
Yeah. And even though you have the Golden Gate Bridge behind you there, you're basically based out of Colorado, correct?
Yeah, I'm based out of Colorado. Yeah, I actually got on a little bit sooner to fix that.
So things get pretty cold up there in Colorado. Are you pouring throughout the winter seasons, or do you guys shut down? What happens up there?
No, the construction. I mean, the construction season will slow down on certain elements, but we are pouring through the year without a doubt. We're doing state bridge decks in the middle of winter. It continues. Absolutely, through cold, through hot, we're producing when we can. Funny story, I remember once having a customer call me up. It's -10, -15. We have 3 feet of snow on the ground, and they were trying to figure out how they can get concrete to their job site. So it happens. The season, I mean, construction moves forward, and we'll get it all thrown at us.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's got to keep me up at night. Well, that's great. Well, let's move on to some quality control and data-driven decisions. Sue, I think you had some questions there.
Yeah, it seems like I'm hearing you say that a great QC program includes people, process, and technology, that you need all three.
Yes, no. You're using technology these days, absolutely. It comes down to people. I mean, having good people, having people that understand the data, having people that understand the technology, people that understand how that influences our decisions and the quality of the material. Having a good process control plan, making sure you have standard operating procedures for testing plant moistures, aggregate gradations, verifying that. But yeah, absolutely. They're all three very strong pillars in a good program.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm sure in the past it was always you had senior guys that could taste the concrete and they knew what was right or wrong, and today hopefully we're being driven by more and more data, and good decisions are made with data and not by what your intuition tells you. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Another funny story we had back 20 something years ago. One of our plant managers, anytime we're struggling with some characteristic air content, it's the barometric pressure. It's the barometric pressure changing. So, and there may be some science to that, but yeah, absolutely. Having data trends, getting ahead of it, seeing that we're having fluctuations in one particular performance criteria, seeing the trend, identifying what may be contributing to that, correcting that, or moving forward, or addressing it with how our admixtures or so on and so forth is very critical.
Are you seeing an opportunities where real-time data can help your team avoid some costly mistakes?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Real-time data is very important to me. Yeah, if I mean any QC manager, if they can know what's going on, in transit or in situ, in real time, it's excellent data to make decisions on. You can always make a good decision for what's coming up next, and having that data to help you make that decision is very critical.
So if you've had a chance and an opportunity to use our Rebel sensor in some of your projects, of course we deliver real-time data on strength as concrete is curing. Has that helped or hindered your situation? How have you found the Rebel in some of the applications you've used?
Yeah, I think what intrigues me about the Rebel sensor is its independent nature, if you will. And what I mean by that is it's it's not influenced by a test procedure, a test method that was done by a human in some lab. Something may have gone wrong, or something. We're relying on standard maturity curves with temperature gains. Questions out in the field about this or about that. What I like about it, and what I'm really intrigued about it, and on some of the limited projects that we have used this product is the fact that it's like it sounds cheesy, but it does feel like it's an independent QC that we're putting in the concrete
Yeah.
that is giving an independent reading of the concrete. And I like that because it gives me, it gives me the ability to speak to what's happening truly from an independent stance, if you will. And I think it gives, future uses, contractors having that independence, having that ability to not only know what's going on, but also maybe, the test lab of record verifying data coming back, having a check on it. It's very important, especially in this day and age where, when you're relying on the test lab or whomever to do all the standard procedures properly, pick those cylinders up within 24 to 48 hours, get them into the lab within a certain amount of time, get them into a 100% moist environment, cure them properly, everything that could happen along the way, right? It's like it's nice to have a little bit of an independent assurance.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables you deal with.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
variable. Absolutely.
And we've always heard that from the contractor's point of view, if they get a low break because the cylinder was made improperly, who's the first one to blame? The test house that made the cylinder? No, don't they go right back to the ready mix supplier, right?
Yeah, it's a direct call to the supplier, without a doubt. And we as an industry, when I say we as an industry, I mean we deal with those situations quite often. They are costly, for sure. I mean, it's a huge cost in the industry to address whether the testing was done according to the standard. Is it truly representative of the concrete that was produced and delivered?
Yeah.
These are all serious questions that we have to answer when these situations arise. And yeah, absolutely, it gets pointed directly back at the supplier. Anybody in that position has probably fielded those calls. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's
So,
a
mhm. Go ahead.
there's a lot of people involved in all these decisions and emotions when all of that comes up. And one of the things we always hear about you is your leadership and your ability to manage people and all the plant cultures that you have to deal with all these different plants. How do you build buy-in when you're introducing new technology or process changes?
You know, it's a great question. I like to show the reduced risk, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I like to, at the end of the day, eliminating risk, eliminating rework and disputes. It's very valuable. It's part of the process. And for me, whatever tool I can use that I can get my hands on to help me make those
Right.
decisions and give our customers that confidence is very important. Absolutely, it's something that's how I usually push buy-in is remember the time when. Now as we move forward, we have the opportunity to look at it a little bit different, possibly, right? And try to mitigate those concerns.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, I know from an industry and being involved with multiple associations, we're always trying to get new, younger blood into the construction industry, right? I mean, all we hear is we can't get people to work, we can't get people to work, and we're all getting older and we're losing a lot of techniques. So I know Amrize has a great program on trying to bring in new, fresh, and young blood, and probably the mentoring falls to you, Stephen. What kind of techniques to use for mentoring the newbies into your organization.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a topic of concern. I actually I cherish that side of what I do with my role is having the ability to show the newbies, if you will, the up and comers, the young engineers that we have as our intern program, that this is not a static industry. This is a changing industry every day. That it's so exciting with the technology that we have, and nowadays the generation coming in, that's intriguing. That's something that does perk up the interest of those young engineers, or our interns coming in, or someone looking to enter the workforce in this industry. We all know technology is a huge part of our lives these days, right? So being able to bridge, practice to theory, the why, and really trying to show the big picture at early on in a new someone just coming into this career is huge, because they're going to take it to much higher levels than we can even imagine. And I think that's where we're going, right? It's
Right.
pretty neat. Yeah.
So I'm going to go total old school on you here. Go back, flip the pages in the book back, and tell me a lesson that you learned early on in your career that you still think about today.
Uh, yeah. It's simple. I tell this story to my QC managers, to my QC technicians. We were doing a water tank structure many years ago,
Yeah.
and there on the job site, which was not far from the batch plant, but it was far enough to where they were having a different climate that day at the job site than they were at the batch plant, right? And
Big
so
problem.
job started just fine, going well. We're plugging away. We got good slumps coming in, good airs, and then all of a sudden, the loads are coming in 5 inches too wet, sending trucks back to the plant, trying to figure out what's going on. And I was a young QC at the time, very new, and but I had a grasp on some of the basics. One thing that's very important is getting the basics right, right? And I remember the plant manager calling saying, "Your mix is all screwed up. This mix is terrible. This mix is an absolutely terrible mix. So I don't know what you're doing with this. I don't know why we're sending it down there." Right. So I was like, well, let's just take a step back and see what's going on. Oh, well, we just had a rainstorm, one of those spring rainstorms in Colorado that just dumps on the plant. Right. So, okay, well, all of a sudden our moistures are through the roof.
Mm.
All right. Well, what's your moisture probe doing? Have we checked it? Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it change with the changes in the environment? Nope, it's not changing. I'm like, okay. Well, let's get back there and make some adjustments and see what happens. And sure enough, this guy's so upset about our mix. We come back, we do some basic quality control principles, do a burn off, adjust that moisture probe, and the job goes on without a hitch from there on out. So, technology is fantastic, but it does take oversight, and it does take making sure that is being done correctly, even from the technological side. So that's a lesson I learned from design to technology to implementation way back in the day that I still carry to this day.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. At least to know the machines aren't going to take over just yet. I was at an Illinois Ready Mix conference yesterday, and and they were talking about one of the things I really didn't appreciate about the ready mix producers is you think like, oh, that's an easy job. They just have to put the mix together, they mix it up and send the truck on the way. But but they analyzed, here are all the things that happen that I have a much greater appreciation for what you do. So I want you to kind of validate this for me. But when there's a whole schedule, I mean, first off is ready mix is something that is ordered on demand. I mean, it's not like you could make it, last week and then you can deliver it today. So when it gets mixed, you got an hour to 90 minutes to get it on site and being poured. So you got to get through traffic, you got to get to the site. You have to have a pace of trucks going. You rarely does someone order, probably in your industry, just one truck. There's gonna be multiple trucks, so they have to be scheduled and paced one after the other. What's that pacing? At the job site, they got to have room to get the truck in, dump it while the next one's ready to go, and try and keep that flow moving. And you can't afford a glitch, right? I mean, if all of a sudden you have a truck that stops or you got a problem, oh my gosh, everything starts to unravel. So
Absolutely.
you've got a lot to maintain on your plate, right? On all of that. How do you coordinate all of it? That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. We, every producer is going to have their methods,
Mhm.
and every producer makes that work for their customer base. I mean, for us particularly, we've to your point, Joe, we fine tuned our process to the minute, right? We know which loads we're testing to get the quality out of the gate first thing in the morning. We're adding the exact amount of time before when we send that ticket to that plant to
Mhm.
make sure that our QC has the exact amount of time to test it and
Mhm.
validate the load and get it sent to move on to the next load to test it. So I mean, we're dialing it down to the minute of
Yeah.
how long that truck is going to be sitting there in the yard before we can get them out the door. And of course, not everything goes perfect, right? So we have to have that built in to a degree every time we do that. So on time in spec. I mean, we got to get out the door. We got to get to the customer. We got to be there when we say we need to be there. It's a competitive market, and that's a critical aspect to a
Yeah.
successful operation. Yeah.
That really is amazing. And the other thing I did appreciate is if it's taking an hour or even 90 minutes to get to a site, and you're scheduling trucks every 15 minutes, I mean, you could have 5 or 6 truckloads in that whole chain. And if something goes wrong and you have a problem with a load, it's not like just one load that's wrong. You've got like 5 trucks stacked up and you got the next one in the batch already. It's like, holy crap, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not to segue back into sensors, but that's a great segue back into in transit sensors. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
you could only do what's humanly possible, right? So we do our darndest to make sure that our quality program is having enough time
Yeah.
up front to not have that happen. But the addition of sensors to it gives us the ability to monitor in transit,
Yeah.
and that's a critical part if especially on those extremely busy days where you have
Yeah.
multiple jobs going at the same time. Yeah, we
Yeah.
it's not as easy as just loading a truck and putting it on the road.
Yeah, yeah, that's I got a lot of respect for what you do. And when everything goes right, you're underappreciated because nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. It's when it goes wrong, then everyone's screaming at you. It's like, what about all
Yeah,
the other times I did this right?
yeah, having a quiet day is a successful day. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
that's fantastic. Um, I don't know, Sue, you want to go into like funny stories? What's
Yeah,
the next segment?
Stephen, you want to share any funny stories or challenging pours you've had that just can make us all feel better about ourselves here?
um yeah, that's on the spot there. Yeah. You know, what I what I'll share is that one of the things I love about the ready mix industry, about the team I work with, the Amrize team, is is we come together as a team, and when we have, I mean, we get pumped up when we have these large placements, these several thousand-yard placements, these critical night placements. A customer has a job where they have to be perfect, right? And it's the teamwork to pull that off, which is the exciting part of it, right? Yeah, we anybody could get it there, but to get the concrete to do what we need to do and to have the team to back it and deliver it on time, get the performance metrics correct, have the hardened aspects working for them, especially large placements, large night placements, very critical bridge deck placements. That's that's what excites me. I mean, it's so rewarding. And helping customers solve problems is one of the greatest parts about this business.
I
Yeah,
never realized how much of a team industry it is.
Yes.
And how much, it's like putting on a production. Um, you train, you build that team, and every day's go, and then it's over, and then the next day's another
It
one.
just starts over again. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an exciting business. Yeah.
yeah, and you have to really be in sync together.
Yeah. And it's dynamic. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You need to be in sync. You need, it's dispatch, it's operations, it's logistics, it's quality
Mhm.
control, it's material deliveries, you got to coordinate a huge production every day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's great.
Fascinating.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. Where do you see the next big efficiency gains coming from and, coming into the ready mix industry? Any insights into that?
Well, I think I think we've been talking about it. I mean, the word sensor was thrown around a lot today.
Yeah.
I think I think for me personally, I think that is the future.
Mhm.
I think more and more digital innovations, bringing that to the game, a more and more material characterization, bringing that to the game.
Mhm.
Um, I do think we talked about it again, real time truck uh, monitoring, temperature, strength data monitoring, plant monitoring. You look at some of the other industries, and
Yeah.
they're already digitized. So I think that is, I think we're building the future right now.
Yeah. And it's you mentioned carbon sustainability and durability. I think those are the two things that I've seen talked most about in the last couple of years. Carbon reduction was big, and that put a lot of stress on, I think, your industry in terms of all these different mixes. Like we're going to throw in 1L, and now we're going to have tertiary designs. We're going to try all these SEMs and all these additives and blah blah blah, right? And then how do we make it more durable? That's got to put some stress into your system as well. When everything was going perfect, now we're going to throw all those out and come up with all new mix designs, right? And it starts with the producer.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Sustainability or resiliency, having resiliency is very important. It's something that's near and dear to all our hearts here at Amrize.
Yeah.
Low carbon has been in different terminology. You had the lead. You need to put your lead points together. You need to. This is what we were doing. Before we had a shift in the industry to global warming potential (EPDs),
Yeah.
still for the same insights, same reasons.
Mhm.
The way I look at it, it's really just using your material as efficient as you can, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that's what we're trying to achieve, especially with the low carbon movement or the low carbon concrete, and
Mhm.
with the here in Colorado, it's a big deal because we get challenged every day for lower and lower GWP numbers, and so it's something that we're addressing on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is interesting. I mean, you talked about concrete curing longer than 28 days. Um, and one of those strategies are to lower, obviously the cement content. Um, we probably over cement by 15 to 20% in the industry just to make sure that the cylinder breaks when they go bad, we still hit the strength, right?
Yeah.
And we're hoping with things like the Rebel sensor that gives you real time data out to 28, 56 days, whatever, give you more insights into what your true strength is or real strength is based on what your final certification strength is. We see,
Yeah.
a lot of opportunities to fine tune that and hopefully with better data, better sensor data, that it helps the industry, come up with newer mix designs and easily qualify them or quickly qualify them much better than, if you have to wait 28 days to qualify everything, it's a long time to do research and development, right? Where,
Yeah.
with our data-driven solutions, we can start to predict what 28-day strength is after 3 days, which is really helpful to know if you're going to be hitting the mark or not.
Yeah, predictive strength curves are getting more and more interest in the industry for sure. It's very important to clarify that we as an industry design for 28 days. And we can achieve that with the materials that we use, with the 1Ls, with the 1Ts. It's all in the design phase. It's all in testing. It's all in planning. Using the sensors gives us a leg up, which is exactly what this industry needs, especially when people want data faster and faster and faster. As we move out to 56 days, where I see that as a critical insight is just examining your elements on your job, right? You don't have to specify for 28 and low carbon if you're putting it in an element that may not be as critically, sensitive to schedules. Early on, caisson, so on and so forth. You could, when you're looking at your carbon budget, you could really align your strength performance criteria with what you're looking at on your GWP. It's not necessarily a one size fits all. So that was the point I was trying to make with that. It's really important to keep that in mind. And the sensors.
Great insight. Great insight. Yeah. And I think, the industry and folks like yourself, Stephen, have great, knowledge and insights into what you're mixing and producing, but not all the times are you the ones who are being asked for that expertise. It's going to an engineering firm or someone else who thinks they know it better, but you guys know your materials really well and what you can do with them and how you can modify them to get what somebody is actually looking for.
Yep, absolutely. I would recommend to anybody start with your supplier. Absolutely. And work with them. Doesn't mean you can't. It's always good practice to have others involved, other engineers involved, but start with your supplier and see what's possible.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to close on kind of these thoughts. We always like to ask the one big question of our guests, and that's, what advice would you give someone who's starting out in the ready mix industry today?
Yeah, I mean, I say this: keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, talk to people. I tell my young guys coming in, get up there in the batch office, listen to the conversations that are happening, learn how this stuff works. Right, understanding that is huge to understanding what we're producing and understanding where there are areas where we need to, from a quality control perspective, keep focus on and ask questions, keep your eyes and ears open. I always say what I love about this industry is if you do that, you can learn something new every day.
Great insights.
You definitely are a lifelong learner. So we really appreciate you sharing all your expertise about the industry today. And everybody's learned a lot. And we love the engagement and all your thoughtful answers to all of our questions. So thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
So, Sue, do we have any questions from the field?
I think we're good. I think we've covered most everything that came in. So
Okay. Well, again, Stephen, thanks for your insights today in our monthly webinar. We loved having you as a guest. I think everyone out there in listening land is going to love this video. It'll be on our website, posted for others to view. You've been a great guest, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
See you next month.